Sound is speeding. Hi, it's Carrie. If you don't know me, my name is Carrie. And today I want to talk about something that really changed my life. And I feel as though most people could benefit from this life change and kind of where it's led me over the past few months. You guys can probably tell from the title of this video that I am going to talk about quitting scrolling. And whenever I tell people that, I always say I quit scrolling and it changed my life. And people always laugh because they think that that sounds so dramatic, like I quit scrolling, as if you're quitting smoking or something like that. And the thing is that I feel as though it genuinely should sound that dramatic, because scrolling is an addiction. And I think sugarcoating it and acting like it's not is something that kind of makes it impossible for people to get a hold of how to get out of it, or how to at least limit it by not calling it what it is. I worry a lot about our society because of scrolling. And I mean, I grew up in a time of Snapchat. I grew up in a time of YouTube videos and Netflix binging, but I'm really glad that I at least wasn't scrolling until college, because I worry about scrolling and what it's doing to our brains and our society and socialization. And there's like so many layers, not just scrolling, but also posting on scrolling platforms, and like what that kind of can do to you, and the numbers, and just like kind of conforming yourself to trends. All of that concerns me. But the main concern that I want to talk about today is the amount of time that we waste scrolling and what we could be filling it with, and we don't even realize the power of the amount of time in our day. People always say we have the same amount of time in our day as insert productive person here. So some people say we have the same amount of time in our day as the president, or we have the same amount of time in our day as Beyonce. And that is true. I think that we don't even realize that not only is scrolling taking away from our productivity, but it's also taking away from your life. It's taking away from your life that you should be living. It's taking away from time that you should be talking to your family, your friends. It's taking away from time that you could be reading a great book, or you could be out there looking at the world. When you start to look at life like a ticking clock, you start to think, why would I try to pass the time with something useless like scrolling? So that's kind of a harsh truth. I'm sorry if that comes across a bit harsh. It's how I feel though. So I'll just start by saying that I was addicted to scrolling, and I was addicted to scrolling in a way where I was actively thinking that I wasn't addicted to scrolling and thinking that I was above it, but yet I was doing it and spending hours doing it. I downloaded TikTok back in 2020, just like everyone else, and I was using it, and I decided to delete TikTok off my phone in 2020 because I was writing a book, and I thought to myself, I can't write this book if I have TikTok on my phone. Like, it's not going to happen. The words are not going to end up on the page. I don't understand how it's mathematically possible to have TikTok on my phone and write a book. Now, that's something to keep in mind. The fact that I couldn't have the app on my phone whilst writing a book is concerning in and of itself, and it should have been a huge sign that there's a greater issue happening. And this was 2020, when I feel like scrolling wasn't even as prevalent as it is today. So I wrote my book and all of that, and I don't remember when it happened, but Instagram, which I love, I'm an Instagram girl. Instagram has been my love since high school. I've loved it, and it's just like my favorite app, I would say. So Instagram decided to do Instagram Reels, and YouTube decided to do YouTube Shorts. And suddenly it felt as if even my safe spaces were no longer safe for keeping me away from scrolling. I started scrolling all the time on Instagram. It would start with watching cooking videos or matcha recipes. When I was feeling stressed, I would just watch people make coffees and matchas, and it felt harmless. And then it got to the point where I'd be scrolling for hours and watching the same thing over and over again. A matcha recipe, another matcha recipe, or a vegan recipe, another vegan recipe. I started scrolling, and then I would start seeing things that I didn't like. I would see bad news, and it would kind of ruin my day. Or I would see someone going through something really hard and sad, and it would make me really sad and really scared for them and scared for life. And I just had all these new fears being unlocked all the time because I was exposed to so much life that wasn't my own. it got to the point where I was scrolling so much that I would be scrolling on Instagram and I would actively be thinking, I should stop this. I should really get off this app. Like, let me stop. And then I just wouldn't. I would just keep scrolling. And I remember there would be this breaking point when I was scrolling where I would have to just like kind of turn off my phone and throw it away from me, like toss it across the room, not like literally, but turn it off, put it across the room. And I'd be like, whoa. And I would feel like I had broken from a spell, honestly, that had taken over my mind and was not releasing me. This was deeply concerning for me. As a writer, I need hours in the day to think. And this app, these short form videos were taking up all of my thinking time. How could I have time and how could I have space in my mind to consider new ideas and to think about plot points if I didn't have any silence in my brain? If it was just constantly filled with short form noise, which is the worst kind because it's constantly every other second your mind is switching gears. I just think that it's so upsetting to watch our society become so reliant on this and so wrapped up in it. And I say that from experience. I say that as someone who was one of them. That was me. I tried multiple ways to quit. The first way was I would just delete Instagram off my phone and then download it a few times a day just to check it, to DM people, to like things. But that wasn't working. I would still scroll when I downloaded it. Then I created a rule that was I could check Instagram once a day and I could spend as much time as I wanted to on it in that one session, but I could only go on it once a day. Now this was more effective and I made some pretty good progress, and I would get kind of fatigued and bored of Instagram after about 15 minutes. And then I would put it away and then I would be like, well, I set a rule. I can't check it until tomorrow, same time tomorrow. But the problem was I started to miss things like direct messages that were time sensitive. And I missed them because I couldn't check Instagram except for one time a day. So someone would text me or someone would direct message me on Instagram. Say I closed Instagram at 2:00 and someone DM'd me at 2:05. And so I'm not responding to them until 2 the next day. I started to feel like I was missing things and I was ignoring people. And I didn't like that feeling. I really didn't like that feeling. I felt trapped again. I felt like I had to go back to the drawing board. And I felt like Instagram had won yet again. They have too much of my life and they have too much power over me. And I'm powerless against them. They win. But a few months ago, I should probably think of the exact day. I just don't remember at this moment. I want to say it was approximately 2.5 months ago. I would put it at 2.5. I was sitting at a cafe with my friend Meg. Shout out Meg, if you're seeing this. We were sitting and we were having matcha, and we have weekly meetings where we talk about writing. And at this point, we were talking about writing and work. I had not written in months, like point blank period. And at the end of our meeting, we set goals for the week. And I remember sitting there thinking, what if my goal this week is to just not scroll until the next time I see you? And usually me and Meg hang out once a week for our meetings. So I thought, I'll just not scroll until our next meeting. How hard can it be? And I was a little intimidated by it because, of course, I was addicted to scrolling, but I love a challenge. And so I thought, I can totally do this, a week of not scrolling until I see her next. And I just decided in my mind that from that very moment, not tomorrow, not next week, not Monday, from that very moment, I was not going to scroll until I saw her next. That meant that I wasn't going to scroll on YouTube Shorts. I wasn't going to scroll on Reels. I wasn't going to accidentally stumble on Facebook Shorts or whatever they're even called when I went to go delete the Instagram post that I accidentally posted to my Facebook. I wasn't going to do any scrolling. But on top of that, I wasn't even going to look at the popular page on Instagram. You know, the page that carefully curates everything that you'd be interested in clicking on, and you glance at it and you see 10 things that you want to click on, and how can you resist? I decided in that moment that even the popular page wouldn't get me this week. I created this challenge and I stuck to it. And so if I accidentally clicked on the popular page and my eyes glanced at it, I just clicked off. I didn't click anything. If I accidentally saw something that interested me, I didn't click on it. Say I saw a picture of my favorite artist and I thought, I want to see what they're up to. I said to myself, if you think to look them up in an hour, then you really care. So if I later on would be like, I haven't seen what, 5 Seconds of Summer or Gracie Abrams has been posting recently. Let me go look. And I could look, but I couldn't just click on it because it came on the popular page. If I saw a video of someone creating a cute little matcha, don't click on it. I didn't. And then I will tell you what happened immediately. Immediately. Instagram had no hold on me anymore. I'm telling you. I was addicted. I was spending hours a day. I was losing time. I was losing sleep. I was not writing. I was wasting my life. And I just decided cold turkey, no scrolling. And the more important thing, I'm telling you, no popular page. And I am telling you, Instagram became non-addictive to me. I still have it on my phone. I still use it every day. I go on the app. I click on the 1 or 2 stories that are up there that I haven't seen. I watch the stories. I scroll and I say, 2 posts. As soon as it says, you run out of posts, here's some suggested posts. Nope. Bye. Done. Out of the app. Don't lay your eyes on it. If you accidentally look at it, turn it off. That was the rule. And I stuck to it the entire week, and Instagram was no longer addictive to me. I did not care about it. I loved it for its normal things. I loved it for seeing my friends' pictures. I loved seeing stories. I loved posting my own stories. But I literally no longer was addicted. And when I tell you that I was addicted before, it was a real addiction. I'm not kidding. I had said that it was going to be a week-long thing, and it was 2.5 months ago. Since that day, never scrolled again. Never scrolled again. And when I tell you, it was easy. It was easy. The first week, honestly, I want to say the first 2 days probably broke the habit, and then it was gone. It was gone. Since then, I have written an entire screenplay. Now keep in mind, I hadn't been writing in months. I wrote an entire screenplay in 2 weeks, the first draft. I'm still drafting the second draft, but I wrote an entire screenplay in 2 weeks. Would I have been able to do that if I had been scrolling? The answer is simply no. I am currently writing a new book, which I don't know if you guys know. My first book is called Unstable. I am an author, and Unstable is my debut novel. I have a bunch of ideas for books and writing and screenplays. I have had about 8,000 words of a new novel written on my computer for literally a year, an entire year, maybe even more, maybe a year and a half. I had this novel written, the 9,000 words, which is essentially a few chapters to start a novel. And I had not written on it in months. I had kind of just let it go and just been like, okay, I guess I'm not writing right now, which is crazy for a person who's trying to make writing a major part of their career, like myself, to just not be writing. How can you be pursuing something that you're just not doing? And I'm telling you, how can you spend 4 hours a day watching people do their makeup routines and make matcha and talk about things that frustrated them and tell you bad news and do dances? I'm sorry. It's ridiculous to think back. It really is. I decided recently to pick up the novel and try to get back to writing so that I could eventually release another book, because that's literally what I consider to be a huge part of my purpose on this earth. So I started writing again, and as of today, I am up to 32,000 words, which is approximately, give or take, about a half of a first draft of my novel, which is a huge difference to having not written for months and months and months to within a few weeks get up to 32,000 words and have an entire story arc written and have the characters mapped out and have the ending in sight of what a novel is working towards. Do I think that I could be doing that if I woke up and scrolled on my phone for 2 hours in the morning, or scrolled from my phone whenever it got hard in my day, or scrolled on my phone whenever I felt like my brain needed a break, or scroll on my phone before I went to bed, or scroll on my phone in the shower, or scroll on my phone while I'm eating food, or scroll on the phone when I'm waiting in line somewhere, or scroll on my phone when I'm at a red light? No. I go on walks now and I just think. I let my brain think. I usually put on music. Sometimes I like to do things in silence because I think that's important. But I think, and I come up with plot twists, and I come up with solutions, and I come up with work ideas, and I come up with life goals, and I come up with new passions and new ideas for what I want to do for hobbies. That all happens because I created space in my mind and in my day for something that wasn't mind-numbing, for something that wasn't wasting my time in this world, my youth. Think about it. Think about your 80-year-old self and what you want to look back on, what you did with your youth, your fleeting youthful years. What would your 80-year-old self want you to have spent your hours doing? Maybe it was starting a new hobby. Maybe it was going on dates, finding the love of your life. Maybe it was going on long walks in nature when you had the strength and ability to. Maybe it was going to a bar and meeting new friends, sitting and talking to people, going to a bookstore and reading, literally anything out in the world. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I want to do more videos kind of like this. I think I'm going to call them like writing check-ins or writing diaries, because I currently am writing a book. Like I said, I'm trying to do a writing challenge right now to get me to the end of the book, the first draft. And so I'm doing about 2,000 words a day. So I wake up in the morning, I go have a matcha, I write my words, and then I do my work for the day after that. It's been going well so far, knock on wood. So maybe I'll keep you guys updated and do some more kind of chatty videos like this. I hope this inspired you to get off your phone and try the no scroll method for a week and see what happens. And anyway, if you guys like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all, I guess, in the next one.